Busy day in court for lawyers for James Gyakye Quayson. They first had to show up at the Court of Appeal to make a case why they believe the day-to-day hearing of his case at the High Court should be put on hold. After hearing legal arguments, the Court of Appeal took the view that the matter as was before it does not mean or does not show any evidence that the High Court considered extraneous matters, particularly alleged prejudicial comments made by President Akufo-Addo, the Attorney General, and other ministers of state, which influenced the decision of the court to hold the hearing on a day-to-day basis. And so the court dismissed the request that it halt the trial at the High Court. Abraham Amaliba is unhappy about this decision.
Even though this has been dismissed, we still have some applications at the Supreme Court and we'll pursue it. But it doesn't come to us as a surprise.
The issue of the prejudicial comments, once again, the court, like the court below, took the view that those are not matters that are relevant. It did not use relevant in this instance, but just to say that there are extrajudicial comments that did not influence the decision of the court.
But how, in God's name, can the statements made by the president not weigh on a judge who is appointed by that same president? How, in God's name, can comments from the judge, from the president, not have an effect on a judge who was appointed by the president? So I'm saying that I'm not surprised, but so let's leave it at that.
Back at the High Court, the cross-examination of the state's first witness, Richard Techimanson, continued. The main point centered around whether he attached evidence to the documents he submitted to the police CID. A request was made for an order to be issued for those documents to be provided, but the Attorney General pointed out that as far as he's concerned, those documents are within the court's domain. The court took the view that since the AG had indicated that they had been submitted, it was proceeding and was not going to issue any such order. This did not sit well with the legal team for Mr. Quayson.
Today is a baptism of fire for the witness. You notice that today the Attorney General could not help but had to supplant himself to give evidence. And the evidence of the Attorney General, which is not allowed in court, and that of the witness were in sharp contrast. Indeed, you remember yesterday there was this issue of attached documents. Today the same matter came up. The witness in his police statement indicated that he had attached documents. And so counsel for Gyakye Quayson requested that the witness produce those documents. However, the Attorney General became uncomfortable and indicated to the court that there were no documents attached at all. So the question now to ask, and I want the media to help me answer the question, between the witness and the Attorney General, who is speaking the truth? It's important. Because this is a discredited witness whose evidence, and you saw that he was evading questions, whose evidence cannot stand the test of time. And yet, you want to put an innocent man behind bars based on this discredited evidence? God is watching.
At the tail end of proceedings, counsel did indicate that he has filed some process under Article 130 asking for a reference to the Supreme Court. What is the concern with regards to that?
Yes, so we have filed for an interpretation. That's an interpretative issue at the Supreme Court on Article 19 of the Constitution, which has to do with fair trial. And you know, all this brouhaha is about whether the accused person would have fair trial. And so we want the Supreme Court to interpret Article 19. What does fair trial mean? Does it mean the accused person must be coming to court every day? Is that what fair trial means? And who in this country, which accused person in this country has been going to court every day? Indeed, I am informed that Vomawo, the fixed country convener, has pleaded with his court to be trying him every day. And the court said no. So between the person who is going to stage a coup, allegedly, the person who is alleged to wanting to stage a coup, and the person who signed a statutory declaration, who is so dangerous to the country that his trial must be done every day?
The case is back in court on July 26, where a motion will be moved on an application that has been filed at the Supreme Court. For Joy News from the Law Court Complex, my name is Joseph Akable.